Welcome to Google Hangouts. I'm JR Ransom. Today I'm hanging out with Amirah Hall. I've known Amirah since we met in Bangkok several years ago. We've been to India together. We traveled to the intensely holy city of Vrindavan, the site of the Bhakti movement, and a truly medieval experience. We were in Dubai together for a bit of time, and that was almost the opposite. It was the most advanced futuristic view. And we've been in 3 times in Thailand, mostly for retreats led by Amirah and other things. And she was very instrumental in helping me get to the point where I could write my book, It All Abides in Love. So welcome to Amirah. Hi.
Hi, JR. I call you JR. Everybody calls you Jairam, but you're JR to me, and it's great to be here.
Thanks, dear. You know, it's so interesting to have had some of these experiences that I've had with you in sessions and things, starting out with our first psychic experience on the roof of at the Orchid in Bangkok. And at that point, that was when I really began to realize that your powers. So I speak to many people about you, and I have since that time, several years, and I try to describe my friend Amirah. What does she do, and how does she do it? But first of all, I'd like to ask you how you would describe what you do. This will help me a lot, and others too.
You know, the first thing I tell people is I do nothing. They look at me. Well, the second thing I do is, well, I'm a fairy godmother, and I just move my magic wand. And, you know, all kidding aside, you know, I see energy. I see, you know, what I call modules or videos or packets of information that, you know, if you could imagine a human virus scanner or an app that could just, you know, move its way through your energy field, that would be me. So I scour out the viruses or the glitches in your software that's making things move slow or rather corrupted. So I am the human virus scanner of the energy field. And so, you know, that's it in simple terms. The rest of that, I don't really know what I do other than I see.
Well, now, okay, human energy virus scanner. Interesting. So you would then, So in a state, because I know you're in a trance or trance-like state, you would, because I noticed that you say, oh, there's all this junk on your 3rd chakra or something. And that's kind of what you're talking about, like that?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I scan, or, you know, little lights or your information, you're directing me to highlights within your energy field. And so I am drawn to those particular components, let's call them. And I like to call them, you know, a virus or a foreign energy. You know, I think the most important part of all of this is I'm so detached or neutral when I see it that it might look like a speck of dust on a mirror or a fingerprint on a window that may be, you know, insignificant. On the other hand, it may be real significant in the operation of your human energetic software.
And these things aren't necessarily, well, in fact, they're necessarily, let's say, psychic or really just energy field rather than physical, although you might be able to see a bad liver because it would manifest in the energy field. Is that
Right.
sort of like that?
Well, you know, there's a lot of words that a lot of people are more familiar with. For instance, psychic, to me, is a non-physical property or entity. You know, it's energy, you know, because everything is energy. You know, since I started doing this work 15 years ago, science has come a long way in helping us understand some of what I do. And that is that everything's energy. So rather than, you know, for instance, when electricity was first introduced to people, you know, and it was like magic. when someone flipped a switch. We don't really have to know how electricity works, do we, to turn it on and have light? Somebody just turns on the switch. Well, that's pretty much how I do. I don't have to, or we don't have to explain it, rather than being able to access it. So in broader terms, I have an ability to access this information and redirect it, since everything is energy, and it should be and is always moving. The problem is, in our energy field or our life, different things start to result in they show up as problems or challenges or struggle and or sickness, dis-ease, and even death of relationships, death of careers, death of functionality, our health. And so what I do is clear the energy so that the natural flow of who you are, of everything that we are is energy, can support you in creating and being in alignment with everything that you are, which is, there's an original blueprint that each soul comes with. And it's almost like a download or a operating system, I guess you could say, to equate it with a computer, words.
Well, kind of. I think that's a good analogy, because we, who we are, created the computer to reflect ourselves. So, storage in the body is kind of the hard drive, and RAM memory is kind of the active brain part. And then you're talking about that, which is our software program, which can be called Atma or Jivatma, and then that has karma, and in some lineages and other lineages, it's the soul. So I think you're tapping into that. I mean, you're tapping into soul programming in a way, aren't you?
Yeah, I get that's correct. And our soul has information. It is here to broadcast. We're here to learn lessons. We're here to fulfill a particular program. And what happens is these energetic glitches impede that. And so that natural flow, that natural expression can't be expressed. And that's when we, hit pain and struggle and fear, and we start going down. Life becomes not so much fun. And really, I truly believe that we're here to create, to have miracles, to explore the wonders of our universe and our relationship to it and within it, rather than be in misery and suffering and pain, which I believe we create. We can talk extensively about karma, rather not right now, but we are creating on an ongoing basis. So I often say to my clients or students, the importance of clearing what's happened in the past is that if you're stuck in that energy is creating your future. So we want to clear and become as clear vessels and have a clear operating system, come back to the computer analogy, so that we're creating in the highest and the best within alignment with our heart.
This kind of brings up an interesting question, which is, everyone has problems. Now, I differentiate that between problems and necessarily troubles. Well, problems are, in a way, the joy of life, in a sense, because that was the same as school. Okay, here's the problem. How many? If you add 2 and 2, what does it give you? That's a problem, and it can get really intense. But really, the problems. What would you? I want to know what you think are the principal problems, or the problems that you hear most about from people, that you feel that by making adjustments you could help to solve those problems.
Well, I think the age-old problems and the top of the list are honey and money. This is like romance, or relationships. It seems that, coming out of the Middle East for 5 years, living there, it seemed to be, more enhanced, of people looking for love and wanting to be married. I know in the West we too also want, you know, someone special in our life, and we struggle with that. So, you know, I have to say there's been a lot of marriages that I've helped create in the Middle East with a lot of folks, and here also.
Really?
And so that's always really close to my heart. And the other most important thing I think would be, so love and money, or careers, jobs, situations, because that again relates to money and being able to survive. And honestly, you know, when those are being the most critical issues, but I think that more people want to be authentic and have work that resonates in their heart, you know, and being in alignment, or having work that's full of passion. Not just a job, you know, that comes and truly affects. Probably the fifth most important thing is health, you know. So most people don't understand. They come to me, they're so stressed out because they're in survival, you know, they don't have enough money, or their physical body is failing them. And so they're not eating properly, you know, they're emotionally constipated, for lack of a better word, and you know, everything's just literally plugged up. And so we got to get that going, you know, and flowing. Going and flowing.
So that really would, I mean, in essence, that's your when the honey and money and maybe the health start wearing away, that what you are doing is working on, I would have, for lack of a better word, the inner, in order to get that straightened out, to clear things and align things, so that those problems, apparent problems, can be, the way can be cleared for solving of those. Is that kind of what you're saying?
You know, JR, you said it really well. You know, unfortunately, most people call me when they got problems, okay? And as we clear the energy and clear the way, they start to say to me, I start hearing the theme is, oh, now that we got that out of the way, you know, I really would like, and then the list starts growing. So what happens is, yes, the soul and the body are struggling. We're all struggling and continually learning how to bring those into alignment. And it's my awareness and understanding that those two parts of us, which also include, okay, so we've got the body, the mind, the emotions, and the spirit. So when they all come together, that's when we flow. So what I'm doing is work is undercover, you could say. I'm sort of clearing the background noise, the unconscious energy that you're not aware of, that is creating the mess in your life. And so that's what I'm, you know, really successful and adept at seeing, is the stuff that you don't know is there, but you know something's not right.
And, I've noticed that, actually. I've noticed that, because and that's actually, that's, I mean, that's a question, really, because if when you, the old phrase, you can't escape from prison until you know you're in prison. That, you know, like, if you get that your walls are much smaller than you think, but that if you are clearing that kind of residual background noise, I've noticed it, because I would say, what is that Amirah has done that I've noticed over the past 2 weeks that's there? It's as if the pain in your leg went away and you don't, you know, you kind of miss it or something. But then you realize that you're clearer and better and your life is flowing. Am I expressing that right?
Well, you're doing great. What I want to know is, okay, so you personally had a recent experience with me, but you mentioned earlier in conversation that a bunch of things are clearing out of your life that you haven't been able to access for 3 years, 4 years.
You broke up a little bit, so I couldn't quite hear all of that. But
yeah, I was just saying that you yourself had experienced some shifts that you might not have equated it to your personal session with me. But other things beyond what you've been able to access are starting to fall into place. Is that not correct?
Yeah, they are. And I've worked on that a lot. And it was really nice that we just plugged in recently again after a while at almost the perfect moment. It's all the perfect moment, kind of, isn't it? If you can get there.
Yeah,
What
it
I
sure
found though is
is.
just you as a healer is kind of the one I'm driving at, because um, because you actually do things, and that's kind of what I like. For example, how did you start doing what you were doing? You know, what triggered this so that you could? I hesitate to use the word powers, but that you would have this ability and/or powers.
Oh, I think I've always been really sensitive and, very curious in the unknown or the unseen world. But it was after my near-death experience, and I came back to the US after being in Egypt, that I discovered that I had extraordinary abilities to heal and or to see things that other people weren't seeing. And so it took some time to work through that. And so that was, I think, the precipice that launched me into, well, I couldn't even go back to my regular work after that time. And really, so I've been on the journey of this professional practice for the last 15 years. And I think, I honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. As I said earlier in the session, all I know is I'm seeing and I'm moving energy. And I do know that I'm doing that. But the results, when people leave me or when we hang up from our Skype interview appointment, I have to, wash my hands and literally go about my schedule, because I don't know how everything's going to fall in place for that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, I love it when I get these messages, from people that just go on and on and on about, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Can I share this with you? I'm just so thrilled.
Sure, yeah, please do.
Let's see here. What did she say here? Sorry about that. Yeah, this just came to me yesterday. Amirah, you must be shifting energy for me. And I'd like to say that I have she's participating with the quantum co-transmissions. My boyfriend and I are communicating well, and he renewed his commitment to getting help for our relationship. I just got word today that I'm finally getting help from our court system for child support. And this has been an issue for 6 years. And I was spared from being fired with the company. And I've had other people wanting to interview me for new positions at new companies. And I never even thought I was looking, although I wanted to leave my current company.
Wow.
I really would like to leave a thoughtful review and contribute to your Yelp page or website. And my ex and I had to resolve a financial issue that came up yesterday, and we had no problem with it, and he helped with his part with no issue. I couldn't even have imagined that happening in the past. And then this was today. She said, I woke up this morning to a love note from my boyfriend. Miracles really do happen. Wow. Blessings abound, Amirah. I'm receiving my employment benefits today, and I got news that my employer pays half the cost of my insurance and also gives several $1,000s prepaid extra towards my medical needs yearly. I am feeling the magic. And my boyfriend called just to say he loves me, even though he has a huge workload. I'm astonished. I don't even have enough words to describe the miracles that are happening right now in my life. So these are all things that she never had experienced before with this particular man. So, this is the kind of stuff that I wait for after my sessions. It's like, okay, I did what I do, and now it's all gonna, it's like in a little magic pot brewing and simmering.
Yeah,
a lot
I've
of
noticed
fun.
that actually. And the other part that I know, it's kind of like, I mean, it's all the phrase I would use is you're using kind of this set it and forget it method, in the sense that we would have this session. I remember we had a session that was, you were really right there, and I knew because you were yawning. And we were doing this thing, and then the next day I took you to a mall in Bangkok, and it was outside, it was a little ways away, so we had to ride in the car a while. And I kept wanting to talk about what we had talked about the other night before, and it was like you didn't really remember what we had talked about. So, and there were really serious, heavy things. I quite appreciated that, actually, because you clearly were coming from another place, and really channeling doesn't go into your brain. It goes really through your heart, right?
Well, I do channel. People ask me, well, are you a medium, Amirah? And I do connect with deceased loved ones when they come in. It's not my primary focus. I believe if there's a message or information from past lives or from your Akashic records or from a loved one, then we employ that. I think, thanks for bringing that up, because I do forget my sessions, and I don't think I'm supposed to remember people's, secrets or, really all the nitty gritties of life, because really it's moved. It's already out of the way, so their soul knows what to do. It's like God's already programmed all of us. So I just realign you with what God has set in motion. It's none of my intention to have anything per se on you or will you. I'm very, very careful and conscientious of reclaiming my energy from my client's space when we're finished. And a lot of psychics or healers, or even, let's call them teachers or massage therapists, a lot of people aren't aware that they're leaving their energy with their client or with the person that they had a session with. So, I've been professionally trained and reclaim my energy, sending you your energy back to you. And, that's the secret of having powerful magnetic relationships, is keeping that energy clear. For my energy field to stay clear, for you to have your clear energy space, and that creates that magnetic law of attraction, that force field that draws the things that are deep in your heart to you, whether it's honey or money or good health or, anything else in your life.
Or actually to not have anything in your life. I mean, in the sense of the Babas in the caves, well, anyway, I don't want to go there, but I kind of think of that as a silver thread that's through everything. It's the thing I think you're trying to get, not even trying, that your work is to get people to that silver thread, I call it, that runs through people's lives. That it's there at the beginning, while it's actually there before the beginning, and it's there after the end. And you follow that thing, and if you're not lined up with that, it can really hurt, I think. And the more that you get lined up, and that's really what you're doing in a way, one of the many, right?
I guess so. Also, maybe this has been a downside in my, well, certainly for marketing, but it's hard to, put it in a box or pigeonhole it. I think we humans, we want to linearly, is that a word? we want to box something so we can understand it, and we want to have a description, and a marketing, project. What's your mission statement? Who are you? What are you? And the very nature of quantum is, when you visualize energy as a wave, it performs as a wave. If you visualize it as a point or a dot, it's that. So, what do you want to say? Who am I? What am I? And it changes, and that's kind of, it is a struggle. But I'd like to just call myself a quantum energy healer and leave it at that. And people say, well, what is that? So I'm a fairy godmother. For those of you who don't know what a quantum energy healer is, I make miracles. That's it.
I would have said that word, but that phrase, because I think it's terrific. And every now and then I'm just thinking, it's funny, call the fairy godmother. It's amazing how long you've been around too.
Yeah, and don't I look good for 1,000 years? And
wow.
Some of my students call me their miracle mentor, but a miracle is what I am.
Oh,
And
yeah, cool.
that's what you are, you know, and that's what I believe we're here to do. Let's make miracles.
Yeah. You had a recent video and it had 5 things in it, and that you were talking about. One of those was love. You said everything's love, and I wanted you to say a little bit more about that because, well, I'd love to hear it. That I believe that too, and that I believe that we should be love, and which is actually a thing I sort of spread around. But I was very impressed with that love.
Well, thanks for that, JR. You know, you in your book, it all abides in love. You know, we've got that definite match. In my near-death experience, I learned, you know, 5 things that I talked about, and the first thing was that everything is energy, and that you're energy, I'm energy, and the room I'm in is energy. Everything. The second key thing that I learned was that all this energy is what they described to me as a fabric of all creation, and that is love. So the component of all of that energy was love. And so you're love, I'm love. Everything is love. And you know, I struggled with that. My near-death experience was almost 17 or 18 years now. And I still, you know, grasp or try and connect with that moment in time. And it's very difficult being human, trying to comprehend, you know, God, I guess you could say. I guess God and love, those are the 2 closest, most highest forms of, I think, expression we as humans are struggle trying to access.
Yeah.
The other thing I learned in that near-death experience is that we are responsible, we create all of our experiences through our energy or our lack of awareness of our energy. But we are creating it with our thoughts, with our feelings, with our emotions and our actions. So there's no one to blame. There's no one to say, oh, bad karma, you know, because somehow, some way we created that energy. Or we were participating in some group, let's call it agreement of energy, to learn lessons. So not that it's a bad thing. You know, it's not about making something bad or saying something's good. It's really a neutral position. The other thing that I learned is that all of my emotions through my life that got stuck in various aspects of my energy field and my physical body created dis-ease, dysfunction, and death. Death of relationships, death of career, death of well-being, you know, my whole, just, you know, destruction in my own life. And so, and then the final thing that was important that I learned was that the importance with meditation, regular meditation, and regular detoxing of the physical body. Keep that body flowing and functioning at its optimal level, and meditation helping to clear the energies that we build up and becoming consciously aware of releasing those stuck energies are the keys to a vital health and to creating in the flow and creating miracles. So it really is simple. It really comes back to this keeping it simple and not complicating things, and really coming back to the core of who we are. And that is love. And it's our job to connect with that. Call it authenticity, call it being passionate about our life. There's a lot of different things that we can call it, but ultimately it comes back to that word that we're all, I think, really spending our life trying to understand or have more of it because it just feels so yummy.
Well, yeah. I mean, life is really fun, you know. Look at the horror, look at the grace, look at, yeah, there it is. It's all it's all just happening. It's very interesting. I really liked when you said that love is the fabric. You know, it's something that I deal with. My book's about it. My guru is known as the Miracle of Love. My guru named Karoli Baba, and Maharaji. He was known as the Miracle of Love. So you go from, oh, I love tacos, on the scale of using that word. It's the greatest word of humankind. And then you can use it to describe it as the essential fabric of the universe. Wow, what a word.
Yeah, it's pretty wide range from I love Rubio's fish tacos to, God.
Yeah.
So, there's
God
a component of God in Rubio's fish tacos. When you start looking at it like that, let's make it real for ourselves and really get into those fish tacos when you eat them, really connect and then detox.
Well, that's the other part. And that's what I found really, really helped me a lot, was because I'd done a lot of work in this field, in the field of more of the seen and the unseen, the unseen and, Nama, Rupa, Satchit, Ananda stuff, and a lot of studies of that. But it never really occurred to me about this detox, which I went along on that whole intense thing for, I don't know, whatever that was, a bunch of days up in North Thailand, and with you, and herbs and fasting and cleansing, and that really was very effective for me, what you were talking about there. And I noticed kind of that people are looking for that people are more than they realize when they're searching for health things. So I just wanted to mention a little more about detox.
Yeah, I really appreciate that because, it's an ongoing effort for myself. It's not like, oh, you reach nirvana and that's it. You stop it. It's an ongoing process that I think regenerating the body and rebuilding. Certainly for myself, it was a big adjustment moving from the Middle East back to California. And I got myself back on alkaline water. And every day, I'll toast to that. I just couldn't resist. I've got my alkaline water it kind of looks like pond scum maybe, but it's got some aloe vera and some lemon juice and some apple cider vinegar, and it's alkaline water and smudged up wine glass here. So it kind of makes me feel special and toasting to my good health, while I'm throughout the day. So that the water is, the miracle drink of life. And, while you were detoxing, I think so many things evolved from that, didn't it? I know myself, when I'm on a detox program, it's like I feel creative. Well, first of all, you might not feel so good. There are times where you feel real crappy, but there are other times where, wow, the creativity starts to flow and you start thinking of all these possibilities and you get inspired and you meet new people and you just start a whole new way of being. And I want to hear a toast to your book that you launched, about a year ago now. And where can people get your book, JR?
Oh, well, all right. I'll mention my book then. After we spent New Year's Eve,
that's right,
2013 into 2014 together in Chiang Mai, and then you split a little while later. But after that time, being on my own detox, a lot of which you set me up with, and Arise and Shine and stuff. Getting clearer and clearer and clearer, and suddenly I found, oh my God, a book popped out called "It All Abides in Love: Stories of Maharaji Neem Karoli Baba," and I'm also studying the science of that, and so that's available on Amazon in Kindle and also on iBooks, and you can get a printed version. I'm going to India next week, and I was thinking, I'll carry some. And I thought, no, I can order them there. I'll just put in an Amazon order and get them delivered right to where I am. So I
Or
think
better
that's
yet,
nice.
people can just order them through YouTube, go right to Amazon, right? And they can read it right today. They don't have to wait till you're in India.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
sorry
by
about that.
far the biggest seller. It sells most Kindle. It's a lot of Kindles, even beating the paperbacks. I like that because I read almost every book. No, I read every book now for some years on ebooks. And the other part I wanted to mention about that is, and it does pretty well with the satsang of the Baba. And he also speaks about several things, the love that you're talking about. And he's known for miracles, just a funny little man in a little world, sitting on a little tucket, a real sadhu, had nothing. And when people would come to him, he knew everything about them, could affect their lives and things. And he said something similar to you, which is, I don't know how this is happening. I really like that. Like you'd look at him and people go, Maharaji, what did you do? And he'd go, I don't do anything. I mean, God does this. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, when our energy, when our energy's aligned with source, our force field is triggering it with others so that what's in their heart they can manifest. So I think that's the key, is having a clear heart, doing the work. There is no free lunch. I can do work for people just like Maharaji could, but you still have to do your own path. You have your own house cleaning, your own energetic, your unconscious energy. You still got to do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got to do your work. You got to sit in meditation. Well, when I did the work, and it really took me a bit to go off on that with you, and really, I mean, the fast, I was like not necessarily looking forward to that. About the 6th day or something, I said to you and Malcolm, I want to continue. I said, sorry, you're not allowed. You signed off on it. You have to come off, because if you stay on it too long, because you're going to find that it's wonderful and you never want to eat any food again, because it's only just slowing you down, kind of.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, yeah, but that can lead to health problems. So you have to learn to do it correctly. So that's why I was glad that you were doing that.
A lot of people ask me, what is a good product for detoxing? And the one that I've used for years and years and years on a regular basis is the ariseandshine.com products. And they have phenomenal products, very high integrity. And obviously we were using them, in the Chiang Mai resort in Thailand. And I've used them for years here in the US. So, go online and get them there. They're really, really great. So yeah, JR, well, this is just so great being able to talk to you about all these wonderful things that we've shared. And
it's nice to catch up.
Yeah, it sure is.
And spread the word. So you're going to be, what's your next project? What are you doing?
Well, I am offering a new program called Quantum Co-Transmission, so people can sign up for a daily transmission of energy, and they don't even have to do all these wonderful things that we talked about, meditate and use my energy tools. So certainly I want to say that for people that are interested in the energy tools to start smoothing things out in your life, they're all posted on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like the videos, please, and please share them with your friends and people you care about on Facebook. I really appreciate that.
I love that stress buster.
That's one of my favorites too. And I kind of say that it's like an energy shower, it's sort of a combined tools of all the others. So yeah, knock yourself out with the free tools. I also have a program called Your Year of Miracles, starting at October 23rd, I think. So it's a program that's once a month for 3 hours with me on a hangout like this, where I actually work with your energy and guide you through some processes. So those are and oh yeah, I want to mention my miracle mentoring program that's available for people. So that's where you have 2 private sessions a month and you get private training with me. And so that's done with audio files. So,
Sweet.
yes.